Guardian Angel by Lily Pinwielder. Read by Niche-lle. Summary. There are stories, impossible, unbelievable stories, about a young boy in the midst of the worst attacks. Some claim that he pushed them out of the way of falling structures. Others said that he held their hand while the heroes were on their way. All of them said he was small, with green hair and a bright smile, and his name was Midoriya Izuku. These stories are impossible, unbelievable, because Midoriya Izuku is dead. Some things in life are undeniably cruel, such as taking the life of someone young before their potential could begin to bloom. However, despite this, there is one thing for certain. Midoriya Izuku was always going to be a hero. Or, basically, Ghost/Guardian Angel Izuku that stays on Earth and continues saving others with a smile. Chapter 1. Present day, December 1st. Jiro Kyoka would never think of herself as a snoop. She'd been raised to always respect boundaries and privacy, and told countless times to not pry into business of others. But with a quirk like hers, she doesn't often have the choice. He calls himself Midoriya, and he saved me. Midoriya? Like the color? I mean, maybe. Tsuruka laughs. Didn't exactly ask him to show me the kanji he used. Just turned to thank him, and he'd already vanished. Kyoka packs her bag in silence, a smile threatening to break out on her face. Seems Izuku finally embraced his decision. It's been a little more than half a year since Kyoka and Izuku first met, and the tale of their meeting was not a good one. 8 months ago, April 15th. Kyoka walks to the bus stop in silence, one earjack plugged into her phone to block out the background noise, and the other absently twirling around her finger so that she can hear the bus coming. She keeps to herself as she always does, eyes fixed on her phone, and mentally counts the days to the UA entrance exam. She's so sick and tired of being treated like she has no common decency just because of her quirk. Yes, her quirk could let her listen to private conversations, but that doesn't mean she will. Though the last time she snapped and told Aki she honestly doesn't give a crap about his boring conversations, the jerk had the audacity to get offended. Like, seriously, what the heck? Do you want me to listen in, or don't you? Kyoka shakes her head at the sour memory and switches songs with an angry swipe of her manicured finger. Jerks. She can't wait to leave them all behind. The bus appears on the horizon, and she pauses her music as she reaches for her bus pass. And that's when she hears it. Somebody, you have to help. The voice is faint and weak, and it's with a thoughtful frown that Jiro realizes it's only her quirk that lets her hear it at all. She turns her head around slowly, tracking the rise and fall of the sound till she pinpoints the direction it's coming from. The bus doors open, and all around her, schoolmates surge forward in a desperate bid to claim seats. Kyoka lets them. With a near-silent sigh, she taps the local emergency number on her phone, letting her fingers hover over the screen as she slips it into her pocket. And then she follows the voice. Please, someone! The voice leads her to an alley, and she pauses before stepping inside. There are 2 heartbeats coming from the area, one slowly fading with choked, gasping breaths, and the other. Kyoka frowns. It's odd, unlike anything she's ever heard before. Almost like slow pulsing in the midst of oozing mass instead of an actual heartbeat. Stop struggling, a new voice snarls, malice and ill intent ringing through the air. I need to get out of here before All Might. That's all Kyoka needs to hear. With shaking fingers, she jabs at the call button, ringing filling her head almost immediately through the earjack still plugged into her phone. She's Woka Emergency Line. How may I help you? Kyoka peeks in just once, needing to know what's going on if only to whisper it shakily into the phone now pressed up against her cheek. There's a sludge person. It's formless, like a mass, but it has a hostage, and it's talking about running away from All Might and... Kyoka cuts off as the sludge thing moves, and she can finally see the person in the villain's clutches. It's a man, mouth full of slime and eyes wide with fear, and Kyoka only has a second to wonder how the victim is a grown man when the voice she'd heard calling her had clearly been a young boy's. He's choking, she gasps, too horrified to make out what the operator is saying over her own panicked ramblings of their exact location. Her own heartbeat is thundering in her ears, and she's always known it was powerful, has been making plans for support weapons to utilize it once she makes it into UA, but now it's almost keeping her from focusing, making it hard to think clearly, and Kyoka steps forward, fully intent on distracting the villain long enough for the heroes to arrive, except a hand grabs her, and the boy's voice returns, a terrified sounding, No! Stay back! Cutting through the fog in her ears. She whirls around, but there's no one there, not even a heartbeat to denote someone's invisible. Nothing save for the feeling of icy pressure squeezing around her wrist and holding her away from the villain. Let go! She yells, yanking at the grip that she can feel but can't see. I'm supposed to be a hero! The force vanishes at that, and the sudden shift sends Kyoka tumbling to the ground. The villain looks up. Oh? Another one? Throwing yourself at my feet, are you? A mouth opens from within the shapeless wriggling sludge to form a grin. I can't exactly say no to that. No! The boy's voice screams from nowhere. I won't let you kill anyone else. Kyoka blinks. There's a hazy form taking shape before her. A short boy in a ripped black gakurin with arms spread wide as if to block her from view, but Kyoka can see right through him to the villain he's trying to hide her from. A glob of sludge comes shooting straight at her, and as she utilizes her private training to tuck and roll out of the way, she can't help but notice the boy flinching as the attack comes his way before harmlessly passing through him. The boy vanishes from sight, flickering back into view a moment later, crouched at her side. Sorry, he mumbles, head ducked low in obvious shame and regret. I panicked. More slime comes for them, and the boy grabs her arm to pull him behind him, and Kyoka's eyes fill, and she has to blink them away as it finally sinks in. He doesn't have a heartbeat. He throws himself between them like he has no fear of death, vanishes from sight at will before reappearing somewhere else. Things pass through him unless he wills them not to, and I won't let you kill anyone else, he'd said. This boy, he's already dead. Present day, December 1st. Kyoka shoulders her bag and steps outside. Classmates and schoolmates alike streaming for the bus stop, but Kyoka hangs a left, strolling past the shops and patrons till she finds an abandoned convenience store and slips behind the decrepit building to kick at the fire escape. Yo, ghost boy, you in? Izuku's head pops out from the wall and he grins. Kyoka, hey! Hey yourself, hero. Heard you saved some people last night. Izuku's form flickers, fading in and out as he loses concentration in embarrassment. His hands come up to cover his face, and Kyoka finds herself wondering if he's hovering sideways to be poking out of the wall like that, or if his feet are on the floor and he's bent over. The mental image has her snickering, and though she tries to muffle it with her palm, Izuku isn't fooled. He pouts petulantly, finally floating outside to land on the ground beside her. So mean, Kyoka. And after I was going to take you flying today and everything. Kyoka promptly snaps to attention. Mean? Who's mean? Not me. I'm being genuine. Yep, 100% genuine. It's Izuku's turn to snicker behind his hands, and Kyoka rolls her eyes with a sigh. All right, fine, you caught me, but it was a friendly teasing, nothing more. I'm just happy you're using your powers for good and shit. Powers. A much kinder word for his abilities than death. Heh, well, I wouldn't have had the guts to do it if it weren't for you. Bold words coming from the boy who saved my life. Come on, Kyoka, you know you're the one that actually took him down. True. Kyoka grins, nudging the ghost with her elbow and relishing in how he purposely keeps himself solid for her to manage the hit. But I couldn't have done it without you. Then, April 15th. Globs of sludge and slime fly at them in wave after wave, and the boy gives up on defending her, wrapping his arms around her instead in a parody of a hug that sends chills racing down her spine. The attacks pass through them harmlessly, and the boy shakes against her, mumbling something under his breath so low it would be inaudible to anyone else. Sorry. Can't hold it together when they get too close. Side effect of traumatic death, maybe? Body reflexively trying to escape? He's flickering badly now, bits of him disappearing from sight as his hold repeatedly slips through her before returning again. Kyoka's mind races, because if this villain is still at large without any news outlets reporting on it yet, then his death must be recent. Recent enough that he's pushing himself to the limits just for the chance to keep her safe. The moisture filling her eyes spills over and runs down her face, and it's so uncharacteristic of her, the girl that never cries. But this is the first time she's been confronted with both a villain as well as the death, and the fact that the villain is responsible for said death, well, it's not looking good for her chances of survival. So she's going to cry if she needs to, damn it. The boy vanishes completely then, not a single transparent limb left behind, and she can't hear him anymore either, and the sludge villain is finally done playing. The shapeless mass of sewage rises up, towering over her as a mouth suddenly appears deep within. You can't dodge forever, girl. A massive limb-like swell of sludge lifts upwards, ready to crash down on her or grab her. Kyoka is too terrified to tell. Can't have you escaping and telling people what I've done after all, not till I've made a clean getaway. He laughs. Now hold still. It's been a while since I've puppeteered two at once, and this should be a fun little experiment. And then the disembodied voice of the ghost boy is yelling from right beside her. Go for the eyes! Kyoka stabs him with her free earphone jack as hard as she can, even as she starts to hear sirens wailing in the distance. This is for her and the drowning man still in the villain's clutches. But mostly it's for the dead boy who saved them both. Hey y'all! This one is a chaptered fic, and it seems like the next couple chapters might be a bit shorter, so I might try and double them up. I'm going to try and see if I can get it done next weekend, because I'm going out of town for a convention on the weekend of the 23rd. So if I can't complete it by next weekend, it won't be completed until around the weekend of the 1st. Also, holy shit, I went up 100 subscribers within like a week, and that feels insane. Y'all are so nice. I seriously don't think my voice sounds that good, but y'all have been saying that I'm doing so well, and it's just overwhelming. Oh my goodness. So leave a comment if you want. It helps boost my confidence in doing these. And I'll see you in the next one.